It's your boy HDK. Today we're gonna go into how young people can get rich in Australia. And of course, if you haven't done so, make sure to like, share, subscribe, and ring that notification bell because today is the day, guys, for you to be educated. Let's jump right into it. How young people can get rich in Australia. First and foremost, I would like to share that I meet a lot of rich people. I meet a lot of rich people. Some of them are old, some of them are young, and there's a lot of things that I get to learn from all of them. And so that's what I'm showing you. And just from seeing how Australia works right now, these are genuinely the mindset and the direction which young Aussies should have to be able to be financially wealthy over the course of their life. First and foremost is the financial mindset. So what does the financial mindset? I think the financial mindset of people who are successful and are rich really break up into two parts. And the first is their ability to meet people and form connections. It's never what you know, but it's about who you know. And the second mindset is the just do it attitude. The great thing about you being young is that you have two things that are going for yourself, okay? When you're young, you have, first of all, time. That you are more time rich than anybody else that might be a millionaire, but they're like 50 years old. Like that, you are already time rich, right? And another thing is that you have energy. You have energy. These two are the two most sought after assets for people who are older. They may be richer than you, but they lose out on this. So lean into your strength. Now, so how do we then, okay? Then lean into this ability to meet people? Because the thing is, you are young, so you're probably really bad at meeting people. You might be good at meeting people, but I found the best way to become better at meeting people is to really want something. If you deeply believe in your heart that you want something and you believe that that's going to come from meeting people, then meeting people will no longer be an issue for you. If you still struggle with meeting people, then I suggest you go on a trip. It doesn't have to be an expensive trip, but go somewhere where you don't know anyone and therefore you have to interact. Go somewhere alone. I'm hoping that you are maybe if you're later in the teenage years, a bit difficult, but you're still considered young when you turn 18. So go travel and go meet people, and you'll realize very quickly that when you talk to people and you say the wrong things, they're going to forget about you anyway. And so you'll see what sticks and what doesn't. And you'll also understand that there's a variety of people out there. So that's why your ability to meet people is so important. I see people becoming successful because they have the ability to meet people. And having the time and energy is going to feed into you learning how to become better at meeting people and forming connections and exchanging knowledge. Nobody gets rich alone. Absolutely, you take my word for it. Nobody ever gets rich alone. Even bosses that make all the money in the world, they have a plethora, like a wide army of employees that are behind him, helping him out. Okay, and what's with this just do it attitude, right? This is not a Nike sponsorship, although I wish. I'll tell you what the just do it attitude is. I met so many rich people. Okay, I met so many rich people, so many successful people, and I'll tell you this. All these rich people have their own strength, okay, and it can be represented by this circle, okay. That's rich person number one. Rich person number two have these sets of skills, and rich person number three have these sets of skills and attributes. Now, what is in between this section here? What is something that they all hold very commonly? And you know what? That thing there isn't how much money they started off with, whether it's a lot or little. You know, some people argue that you need to have less to become richer. Well, no. That's not it. You need to have a lot to become rich. Well, that's not true either. People think that it's good looks. You know, sometimes you can make a video on the internet and then you're good looking, so you become viral, and then boom, you can make some big money that way. Or you're a good looking real estate agent, so everybody wants to list your properties with you. You know, it's not the case. Maybe it's education. Not true again. Okay. I've seen people who are extremely smart and all they have is a day job and they hate it. Okay. If you have a day job and you're happy, that's a different story. But if you have a day job and you're sad, well, yeah, you could be a lawyer, a doctor, or a dentist, all these good, highly educated jobs. Doesn't make you happy, and it may not necessarily make you successful either. Or Or maybe you think it is, I don't know, what their parents do, or their ethnicity, right? Or you know, how fit they look. Not true. You know what it is? They've done something. They have taken action. If you take nothing of today's video, I hope you take one message from this, and that is taking action. And I think these are the most important financial mindset to have. Number two is property. Okay, what is property? Well, property is houses and buildings and things like that. I know it's a very difficult thing for you to consider right now. But what you need to do is you need to start studying property. Studying. Okay? YouTube videos are helpful. You know, come like, share, and subscribe. I mean, I'm just going to get that little pop-up thing coming up now. There you go. YouTube is a great resource to learn how to invest in property, both in Australia and overseas as well. Read books. There are so many books on property. Go and read them. Gain knowledge about property. You're young, so you have no money. I get it, but that shouldn't stop you from gaining knowledge. You need to go and get knowledge on property, because there will be a time when you're ready, because you have the financial mindset, because you have a lucrative business, and that's when you're going to be able to exercise that knowledge to be able to then make use of property. Now, let's say you are in a position of buying property. Your most important thing when you are a young person here in Australia is cash flow. I'm going to put S with a dollar sign in there. Never buy into, and I'll make another video about how to do property more specifically. Never buy into this negative gearing, okay, all that kind of crap. Never buy into that stuff, okay? You want to make sure that your income is greater than the liabilities of owning a property. We're going to go through more of that in another video, but you need to focus on that. And the way you calculate that, okay, do the mathematics of the calculation of your cash flow up front. It's so important that you calculate how much money you're going to have in the kitty when you own property up front. Do not buy property on a whim and this is just what I want to do. Okay, you have to focus on what the ownership of a certain asset means for your bottom line right now, and having that mindset would already set you far ahead above anybody else when you're considering buying property. So two things: study first, and then cash flow is something that you have to focus on if you really want to do it. Now, I do have a very strong understanding of property, so if you'd like to know more, make sure you go like, share, subscribe, and stay tuned for the upcoming videos for sure. Building a business. You need to build a business. It doesn't matter if you studied hard, doing some degree that's going to get you a job. Doesn't really matter. Jobs are one of the hottest jobs last year was and obviously this year is people in IT. Anyone that can do computer programming and things like that, they're great. But did you also hear that Microsoft just fired 10,000 staff in 1 month? And what about ChatGPT? What about all this AI technology? We never know what's going to happen to jobs. We never know what's going to happen to your knowledge. If it lasts forever, great, you like that. But building a business is so helpful, because building a business is different to having a job. Jobs, right, cannot be repeated. Meaning there's only one of you. You cannot have two of you going out working so that you become coming to bring in the double the amount of salary. Whereas businesses, you can multiply and scale a system. And that's the beautiful thing about building a business. Now, how do you build a business? Business always starts from passion. You need to have a passion. Now, as a young person, you might say, well, I don't know. I'm not very passionate about anything. I don't know what to do. There are two things that will generate passion. Number one is experience. Okay? I'm going to talk about number two in a second. You need to go and experience different things. Go and experience things that you're sure you don't like. Go and experience things that you don't even know if you like or not. Go and experience things that you think you like. You will find that what you like and what you dislike are gonna come out. If it's washing dishes, if it's going to working at Coles, if it's going to I don't know, working at a mechanic, or going and doing something administrative, go and do different things and keep your eyes wide open for different experiences. If you don't try to do new things, you will never find out your passion. And you know what? trying new things is less of a work, less of a trouble for your life than to actually find out that you're not passionate about anything. That's the biggest problem with the young people and the lack of passion that they have. Now, once you find something that you like, right, that's where you're going to find some monetary value from it. Guys, we are living in a day and age where people are selling pictures of their feet, collecting bathwater and selling them and becoming millionaires. I'm sure you can find a way to make some money. Number two, this is so useful, is look through internet history. Now, some of you are laughing there because you might be looking at some not so good things on the internet. But think about your internet history. Think about the stuff that you see on Facebook and Instagram and on YouTube. These websites are delivering you content to keep you engaged for hours and hours and hours and hours. Why? Because you enjoy watching it. You enjoy engaging with it. So other than the degenerative information that you're seeking out on the internet, like, I don't know, it could be porn or it could be just something stupid. Well, there's nothing really stupid, but if there's something that you are watching, that you are looking at without being incentivized, in fact, you are paying the phone bills and you're paying the subscription to actually watch and view these things, that's probably where your passion is. If it's baking, it's baking. If it's clothing, if it is sports, that is your niche. And you can create content about the stuff that you like. You can create products about the stuff you like. And that's where your passion truly lies. And it is better to derive cash flow from your passion than it is from just laborious work. So for me, before I got into real estate, I realized that I was on realestate.com.au for 2-3 hours a day, commercial real estate for 2-3 hours a day. And that's when I knew I needed to make a jump from what I was doing. I used to be a lawyer, which was, please don't hold that against me. But that's what I decided to jump to because that was the most interesting thing to me. So based on this passion, you will then be able to build a business. And when you're building business, you need to do it together with others. You need to find like-minded people. When you find like-minded people, how are you going to be able to find like-minded people? Well, that goes back to the financial mindset, okay? It's your ability to meet people. Go find like-minded people that you can work together with. And you know what? I can guarantee you, you're going to experience failure. Go fail more. Go fail more, then you will get to your success closer. So you need to go and spend time failing. That's what you need to do. If you succeed, that's great. But if your focus is failure, right, just go out and try something and that's okay. Because like I said, you have time and energy. So you haven't lost anything. In fact, what that failure is going to give you is more experience. More experience. So go and try more things. Lean into your passion. You have time. Do not tell do not be told by anybody that you have no time and you have to go and do this and do that. Go and fail more and don't be afraid of it. The thing about trying something is that one option is that you fail and you learn something, or the other option is that you succeed and you make a ton of money. Either way, you're not losing. But you need to have a crack at building a business, especially if you're a teenager or if you're in your late teens or if you're in your university. You have to have a go at building a business. These are important skills that you need to have. And it's also an important thing to find out that you're not very good at running a business if you turn out to be bad at running a business. Number 4, the stock market. Like I said, time is your best friend. Time is your best friend. I'm going to tell you exactly why. The very minimum you can do is what's called index investing. Now, I can go through some very great depth to talk about how to invest your money in the stock market or cryptocurrency and things like that, take more risks. But this is one of the most widely accepted way of investing that has been proven to work, proven to build wealth and put people in cash flow positive and capital positive situation. We're going to look at the S&P 500 historical annual returns. What is S&P 500? S&P 500 is a collection of top 500 companies in the United States stock market. And what we're going to find here is that we're going to see its annual returns since 1930 to 2023. And we find that average stock market return over the long term is about 10% annually in the United States over time. And yes, you can invest in the United States market from Australia. So let's say you are 16 years of age and you start to put a monthly contribution of, let's say, $300, because you are able to make $100 a week at least by working anywhere between 5 to 8 hours in even a menial job, right? That's the bare minimum you can do as a 16-year-old, right? And your annual interest rate is, well, this is how we calculate it. And after 14 years, when you become 30 years old, on a $300 monthly addition, we're going to look at how much the end balance is, okay? Okay? Have a guess. Before I press calculate, have a guess. All right? It is a whopping $106,000. You think an extra $106,000 in your bank account is going to be helpful, right? When you've turned 30 years old? Yeah, absolutely. A bit of that could go towards buying a house for you and your husband or your wife. What if then you worked a bit harder, and if you could potentially make more than $100 a week, right? And every month you could then invest $500. Now this will change. During your university, you could pick up more work. You can pick up better work as well. Not only can you just go work at Coles or McDonald's, or you can become a tutor, or you can start a business, or you can go into a better job. Between the age of 24 and 30, you're going to be making at least $50,000 to $60,000, even if you have a pretty crappy university degree, if that's what you decide to do. Bare minimum, that's what it's going to be. So putting a $500 check away every month could become very much possible. So after 14 years of doing that, when you turn 30 years old, how much money are you going to have in your bank account? It's $176,000. Now, what if you kept going for another 10 years? Now, let's think about that scenario, but you've turned 40 years old. So after 24 years at the annual interest rate of 10%, you're going to have a whopping $559,000. And if you did that until you're 50 years, right? 34 years, I'm just adding 10 years by 10 years. And look, even another 10 years that I've added, you've basically 5 extra money, right? Going from 100 something thousand to 500,000. And yet another 10 years after that, you're going to have $1.5 million when you turn 50. Let me ask you, does your parents who are 50 years old have $1.5 million in their bank account? I highly doubt it. Right? If you come from a reasonably normal family. So this is what we call the time value of money. So do not take stock market for granted, guys. This should be your very bare minimum strategy. There are other strategies like Form 13F filing, right? And also Form 4 filings. Now, this is incredibly advanced, but again, it is incredibly simple to do. This basically are filings that really rich hedge fund managers who manage over $100 million in their portfolios in the United States, they make a full disclosure on all the stocks they buy and sell, and then make it publicly available every quarter. You could at least follow that, okay? And we're going to talk about how to exactly do this in another video, how to follow this. But for Aussies and young Aussies who are busy, who are working, who are coming out of their time as a student or what have you, this is one of the best things to do. And lastly, financial discipline. I'd say financial discipline is a combination of everything that I've just talked about. But since you are young, I would like to add one more thing, and that is always invest in yourself. It could be your skill. It could be your knowledge. Think about whether your actions are adding more skill and knowledge to your life. Think about it. Does spending this money invest in yourself becoming a better person? These are the things that you're gonna need to focus on if you're going to be successful as a young person. Thank you so much for tuning in today, guys. If you like, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Tune in for the next episode. I only drop bars of gold. Leave your comments down below. What are your dreams? Peace out.